I'm wearing my Pittsburgh shirt.
The Padres could have swept the Yankees, but alas, the bullpen finally faltered. We'll talk about all of that and more on this episode of Padres Talking Padres. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Padres Talking Padres.
Wait. Michael, do you know sign language? Because I know one word.
No, come on now. Michael's my hero because we got to go to an awesome game for free in great seats.
I never saw you though.
I was like just above whatever that. I wasn't where
camera angle. Yeah,
the stone was. I was like above that area, but still really good seats.
Very nice. Very nice.
Seats I've ever had in my life. It was incredible.
That's great. That's great. I went to the old Yankee Stadium.
Old Yankee Stadium is way better than new Yankee Stadium.
Well, we it's a long time ago. It was back in the 80s, and we sat behind Monument Park. Well, the old Monument Park at Yankee Stadium had added another 70 feet or whatever, so we were out in left field for a doubleheader, 90 degrees that day, and it was like watching ants. I don't understand how anybody could want a seat there. I honestly, just being honest, because the old Monument Park was back there. But
well, they used to have the monuments in the field.
Yeah,
I do think it's functionally better than old Yankee Stadium. But having seen like Colleen when we first started dating, she had season tickets at old Yankee Stadium. She was a bleacher creature, and so I went with her to a couple of those games out there in the bleachers. And sure, you're like a million miles away or whatever, but like the energy of that space, it was kind of magical. And the new Yankee Stadium just is kind of devoid of all magic.
That's back when the Yankees had special players, great players.
Well, I mean, Aaron Judge is arguably the best hitter since Barry Bonds. So like that, I don't think that's fair to say, but
the short porch, dude. Okay.
He doesn't need a short porch. Sure, he needed it for the one home run he got against us.
It was his only hit.
I know. But that being said, it was.
Did Michael get Emma Stone her tickets?
No, I think the Padres did.
Did they? Because she sat right behind.
It was right behind home plate.
Yeah.
Well, she's a super San Diego Padre fan, so I doubt if the Padres actually got her out there. She probably just was out there filming or
her
husband in New York. Her and her husband live in New York. That's why.
Well, her husband's was born and raised in San Diego.
Yes, he's a San Diegan. And so they are both Padres fans. Much like Colleen's actually like born and raised a Yankees fan, but she dresses up and supports the Padres when we go. Which kudos to her for.
My wife was. Your mom was a Dodger fan.
Oh,
it almost caused a split.
That's a bridge too far. I'm surprised.
I don't know how you survived that. Hey, look at
how have I survived marriage?
I thought it was a great series, except for one inning. Two really good teams battling back and forth. One inning got out of the way, and by far the only blip that I'm aware of this year from the bullpen, as far as major. I'm not talking about 1 run, 2 run. I'm talking about blow up. You remember last year we had, good grief, by this time we already had at least a half a dozen of them that we had blown 4-run leads and 3-run leads and given it up. So, it's going to happen. And it was going to happen sooner or later. Just unfortunate it was back-to-back games at the bullpen.
And plus Adams, Peralta and Morihone have been money too, but Adams, he's just like you think automatic. And when he walked the first guy, I go, I said, that's never good. And then Grisham, you can't pitch him low. You got to pitch him high and outside because he has that inside golf swing that short porch that just makes it.
Well, he didn't need the short porch, though. That was a bomb.
Yeah.
He got all of it.
I mean,
why are we pitching into him? Why? I know he missed his mark. I was like, why even give yourself a chance to pitch in? And I was just like, damn it.
Yeah.
Just is what it is.
Once you see it go in, you go, even Adams knew. He goes,
Yeah. But it was a top of a conversation, local radio station here, about the extra inning rule, and not just because the Padres lost because of it, but a lot of people kind of have angst to why are we deciding them like this? The whole runner at second base, and a lot of ideals flew around. The one I actually like was, hey, how about playing the 10th inning like a normal inning, and then if you get the 11th, start a guy at first base, not at second, because I think the part I don't like about it is if by chance, like the Padres did not score, the home team now has a severe advantage to knowing that all we got to do is move him to third and then bring him in. You don't even need a hit. And that just, and again, not just because of this game, it's always rubbed me wrong that it really places an advantage to the home team, whoever that is. And the whole idea of that you can win a game in extra innings without even getting a hit, just a ground ball to second, and another ground ball to deep short or a little pop fly to the outfield, and you've won the game. So
I only like it because I'm on the East Coast, and so when you have the games on the West Coast, it's like I don't need a 15-inning game. It's like, oh no, but I could go with play the 10th inning straight. And then at the 11th inning, you put a guy at first base because that's not automatic.
Right.
You have to sacrifice him over. If you want to just play if you're the home team, you want to play
Can I counter
one
this
run.
argument?
Yeah.
Can I just say I like it? I think it's fine.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% against it, Jay. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not like saying, but
like it's there. So get like if you want to win naturally, get it done in 9. And if it goes in the extras, they're going to try to sacrifice. So, and even the pitch to I can't remember his name now. Michael probably let me know. Really cool story. He was an Uber driver like a couple weeks ago,
right?
And became a player. Really nice story. But why didn't he use his chitter there? Because he kept going to the outside. Like that was your time to use the chitter and then strike him out on like. It's about execution when it's a high wire kind of act like that, and you just got to be able to do it.
No, and again, this is not like the Padres got cheated. I'm just talking about the rule in general.
The rule itself.
Because in fact that was the angst that Schilt had to go through, and as the visiting manager, and I thought, look, I'm not a Monday morning quarterback. I'm really not, because he basically said, I'm not going to just score one run. We're going to score more than one. And so, to have Tatis go up there with a guy on second and bunt would be silly, like absolutely silly. And then when you got Manny up there, Manny didn't do the job this time. Does he do the job, a third of the time like great hitters do? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we don't win the first game without his double, right?
So, that's the way I look at a good series. When you both had opportunities, somebody's always going to be hurt a little bit. I mean, we came back and put 4 runs on the board to beat them the first game. And the second game, again, that one inning just got away. And you got to believe that once it got past Morahone and it got to Peralta and it went sideways, it's like, well, I'm not going to use another pitcher. Like, we're down now. So, let's just play it out. And it's unfortunate. I always say the same thing. It's like when Cease had that episode in Chicago where he gave up 9 runs or whatever it was. It's like, look, we're not going to go through our bullpen to try and save this game.
Yeah, we still won that game though, didn't we? I think, or one of the games. No, it was the last game where we were down 9 to something, and still won.
Good series. I mean, it came right off after right after a great sweep in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. We got 3 more games in Colorado, and we're 4-2. If you'd asked me before this series, the 2 series up to this one, 4-2, I'll take that. I'll take that in a heartbeat. So,
and the key here is like kick them while they're down with the Rockies. They are pacing to beat the White Sox for the worst record in the history of baseball.
They got swept in double hit. Most likely, they're losing the other one 8-1. So they're probably going to lose a doubleheader to Detroit.
So, keep the pedal to the metal there. We have our trauma with playing the Rockies, and especially playing them in Colorado. There's been plenty of bad Rocky teams that have beaten us in Colorado.
Not this bad.
I know. So
not this bad. I mean,
it's still got to qualify that you never know. Like each time,
I get you. I'm just not paranoid about it. I know. It's just. But yes, this is a bad team.
I was listening to MLB Network their baseball satellite baseball radio. Yeah, they were saying, one guy said, he goes, look, the National League West, they're going to beat up on each other except for Colorado. He goes, so if you're playing Colorado, say 13 games, you have to go 12-1.
Yeah.
If you split with them, you're going to be out of the playoffs because you couldn't beat Colorado. He goes, you have to. Every one of those teams has to beat Colorado. If you don't, he goes, you're setting yourself up to not make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I agree with. I'm not sure I agree with the 12-1. I think that's.
But he was basically saying it because the Dodgers are the Dodgers going to have trouble with Colorado? Probably not. San Francisco. Well, San Francisco they already lost their game.
They've lost a game to Colorado. Yep.
Yeah.
So
no,
anyway,
I get the gist of it. But
didn't the Rockies beat them 2-1? Yeah. Didn't the Rockies beat the Dodgers one game, or maybe they came close to beating them one game or something?
It's like the old Yankee teams. They used to beat up on the St. Louis Browns and all the bad teams, and split with the good teams. That's just what you have to do.
You have to beat the bad teams. Okay, let me just talk a little bit about my baseball experience. I want to hear your guys' as well, since we were It's a rare occurrence where everybody in this room here were at each series, which is kind of cool of this road trip so far. So Mike Traverso, who's in the chat, got me tickets to the game. I got some pictures here. And it was the rain game. And it was a wild experience. One, being this close and just having this was the view, and it was incredible, right? And this is a camera, like my eyes were seeing it closer than this. And it was just, it was really neat to experience this game, which was such a dramatic game because of the rain. And then the explosion with these two men right here, Tatis and Mike Schilt, with Tatis getting his first toss out of the game.
And I'm still, if you watch that John Boy
breakdown, it's great.
It's great. And you got to wonder, why was Tatis tossed?
When he lip read it. But this guy, that ump has because that's the guy that Schilt got all blown up at last
he umpired the first game of the season this year with Chris Sale, and they have history. Let's just keep it short. They have history with this umpire and this crew. So
yep. And they were very erratic. Like some calls, it was kind of all over the place. Not a great crew. But still, it was a great time. But the rain delay was interesting. It was my first ever rain delay in my life. I grew up in San Diego. Those never happen. And
I was at a rain out in San Diego opening day.
And then Mike's like, "Don't argue balls and strikes after hours of rain." So anyway, the tickets that Michael got us had this MVP lounge. So when it got rained, I was like, cool, let's go to the MVP lounge, which was a ton of fun because there was a ton of Padre fans here. I know we're seeing mostly Yankees jerseys in here, but
I see a Padre fan back there.
Yeah, this guy was hammered, and but it was great just because there were so many. The people that were hanging around were the Padre fans, and so. Like if you're watching that game and when we finally broke it open there in the 8th, you're hearing Padres cheers.
You could hear it on the TV.
And I'm still getting my voice back because I lost my voice screaming because right to the left. And the thing with I like Yankees fans, they're kind of, they give you crap and they talk a lot of smack and it's fine. But they were just talking and chirping. Tatis is a cheater, just doing the whole time, because there's just where we were, and especially the people that stuck around were just all Padre fans. So the Yankee employees and the Yankee fans were kind of pissed that there were so many Padre fans kind of taking over the stadium. And I
remember sell your peanuts.
I remember this one fan was up and behind us, and after we were just being right, you could hear "Let's Go Padres" chants, and he was like, "We're gonna let them come into our house and cheer. Let's go, come on, guys. We can't let this happen." And it was really funny. But the people that were really chirpy the whole time, they just went silent after the 8th inning, and it was glorious. It was a lot of fun. But there's like, oh, Tatis is a cheater. I was like, well, what about A-Rod? Oh, well, he doesn't play with us anymore. What about Clemens? What about Pettit? What about? I just kept going down the list. Well,
you got like an all-star team of cheaters.
But anyway, crazy game. One of my favorite games I've ever been to, just because of the rain and just how we came back and won, like an all-timer. So again, big thanks to Mike Traverso, and then big thanks to the official MLB store on 5th Avenue near 30 Rock, because I didn't have any rain gear because I'm already kind of in warmer weather mode. So I went there because I was not going to buy any Yankee gear. But luckily there's an MLB store in Manhattan and they got every single team represented. So I went there and bought some Padres hoodies, some ponchos and stuff like that. And there was a bunch of Padre fans there that were doing similar because a bunch of San Diegans that flew in also didn't have like rain gear or anything. So big thanks to the MLB shop. And then one last thing, most MLB stadiums, the thing I've been doing the past few games, have game used balls, and they'll be MLB authenticated balls from the game. The people that do it best is Petco. Like they actually label them and put them in a case for you and everything. Because it takes a while for the MLB authentication to go through. So I don't know which ball this is yet. They haven't actually labeled what it was. So I don't know. It could be a Tatis foul ball or maybe a pitch in the dirt. I don't know. So we'll see. But it's a game used ball. So you bought it blind. You don't know. Yeah, it's just like you paid $50 and you get a ball and you don't know what it is, but it's from the game you're watching. That's how the Yankees thing was set up. At Petco, like if it's a home run or it's a hit, like the last game we went to, the one in, what was it, September or whatever, the Chicago game, I got a Luis Ariz hit. Like it was a hit ball, which is cool. And it said like hit number 832. Like it's totally off, which is neat. That's a neat,
Sure.
But anyway, so that was my experience. Jerry and Jack, tell us about your Pittsburgh experience.
We had rain too.
Yeah, how was that?
Both days. Well, the first game was delayed.
Yeah,
about an hour and a half, right? And I'll be surprised when we parked. It was raining so damn hard downtown Pittsburgh. It was like going through. I said, "How the hell are they going to play this game?" I mean, because it was raining so damn hard. But they started it, and the grounds crew did a great job. I thought. With the getting the water off the field and all that stuff and getting the game ready to be played. Padres, of course, won that game. We had an angry Pirates fan sitting in front of us.
What was the angry Pirates fan saying?
The Padres were up 8-4.
Okay.
They had runners at
this is the first game? The first game they were
first game, yeah. And they had runners at first and second.
These are our seats from the first game.
Great seats. Great seats.
Yeah. So they had runners at first and second, and they bunted. And this guy's, you're bunting up 8-4? Why would you give up an out 8-4? So when they brought the infielders in, they go, why would you bring the infielders up in down 8-4? So he was, oh my God. Was just, I feel bad. I
feel bad for Pittsburgh fans because, I mean.
Well, they just fired their manager.
Yeah. It's a beautiful stadium.
Beautiful stadium.
It's like a morgue there. And it was overrun by Padre fans. Padre fans were very vocal. It was just, and they just, all they're saying is sell the team, which you get it. Their owner sucks. Yeah. Anyway, Jerry, was your first time there. What was your?
Was it your first time, Jerry?
To Pittsburgh, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, if you don't know, Jerry and his wife Tamara, they have gone to a lot. Like, which number was this for you? Because you've been going to different ballparks forever.
I'm gonna guesstimate it's like 20, 21, 22, somewhere around there. Yeah.
You figured out when we were there 22, I thought.
Yeah. We had actually gone to Cleveland, Cleveland
before
Guardian
this game. Yeah.
Before this game on Tuesday.
So your parks. You've been to a lot, both past and present. What was because this is usually picked as one of the best parks ever. Yeah. What was your opinion of PNC?
I don't think so. That was my personal opinion.
Oh, okay.
My wife liked it a lot. The one thing that I do like, as it shows in this picture, is the skyline.
Yeah, that's
and
really
the
cool.
Roberto Clemente Bridge in the background.
Mm-hmm.
The food was average at best. Not a lot of selection. I don't know, just almost too symmetrical. Just it didn't have anything eye popping. That's my thing. It's just a regular old shape baseball field, and it's not. I'm not saying it's a bad one. I just don't. To me, it's not one that you remember. Like
Okay.
Oh man, remember going to there.
Yeah.
You go to Fenway, you see the wall. You know you know you go to Yankee Stadium, you see the monuments out in the out in the outfield. You go to Wrigley, it's the Ivy,
course, the Ivy Wall,
and even the Petco, the Western Supply, and Camden Yards, the warehouse, and this doesn't. To me, they got the Ohio River right on the right field side there, and they could have used it, much like San Francisco did.
Yeah, like Oracle Park is beautiful because it just kind of the whole right field is like lined by.
You got kind of an opening, and it's out there. This is still too far for anybody to ever hit one in the river. So
sure.
Yeah, not the worst, that's for sure. It's just, to me, was just not special. So.
I think another big problem is that the crowd is just not into the game. The loudest they cheer is for the running ravioli potato things that they have.
Oh, the pierogies.
Is that what it is? Pierogies?
Yeah.
I'm serious. That's the loudest they get, because when these pierogies they run, they get into the game. And I get it. They don't really have a reason to get in the game. And when you're walking around the park, around the concession stands and stuff, they have pictures of like Stargell and Clemente and
great history.
Great history, but they don't really have a lot. I don't think I saw anything of Barry Bonds. I could be wrong, but nothing of today's players. Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's all about the past. And anyway, but
that's all you have, right? Like, that's where I feel the most for the Pirates, because they're very. Aside from they actually have a history of winning a long time ago, but a history of winning, they're very similar to the Padres of the 2000s and 2010s of you have this beautiful ballpark, but ownership's not putting any of that money into the team to make fans want to show up.
Yeah. I mean, they've got two players to me, and there's a couple of other guys like Brian Reynolds, and they brought Andrew McCutchen back, although his years are past him. But you got Paul Skeens, who great to have a pitcher. We had Randy Jones way back in the day, and then it's great every fifth day or fifth start. That's great, but that's only one. Your everyday regular player, they got O'Neal Cruz, and O'Neal Cruz is a talent, no doubt about it. But it's just not enough to draw people to the ballpark. And you guys said it well. If you're a Padre fan of longstanding, you remember years just like this. Where, give me something to root for. Give me a chance to be, have a 500 team, and and it probably even hurts more. I have to say, having a history of Roberto Clemente and Willie Stargell,
Wagner,
Parker, and the We Are Family.
But even go to Honus Wagner, one of the greatest baseball players of all time. Like
Honus Wagner. Yeah.
What did I say? Honus. Whatever it is.
You said Horace. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, whatever. But still, you have a century-long history, of greatness,
But the 2 rain delays, both games. In my particular trip, we had a 3.5-hour rain delay in Cleveland. And then the hour and a half, and then an hour, I believe, the second game we saw on the Saturday. And I guess the crux of it is on the Pittsburgh fans too, is this was a Friday and a Saturday. Yeah, so rough. If you're not drawing on Fridays and Saturdays, that's
and Saturday was free T-shirt day.
Yeah, the free pirate T-shirt,
which worked great to wipe up the seats, the water from the seats. I'm not kidding. That's what we use it for. But
I get it. I will say, Michael, I don't know if I'm going to give this note to the team, but they didn't have these were really nice seats. They were padded, cushioned, very comfortable seats. But they didn't have any they were all wet. They had nothing to wipe down the seats. So
now, see, Pirates, they do have an usher. They only need one.
I saw a video of them coming in and wiping down the seats.
They only need one for the whole stadium, but they have ushers that wipe the seats down for you and stuff like that. They're very nice there, very cordial. But like Jerry said, the food is It's okay.
And then I compare that to Cleveland, which I thought was an upscale to this.
Okay.
Two things. Number one, we did not have luxury box seats, but we were similar to where we were at the second night. I think I sent you a picture. I don't know if it showed the field. I think it was a rain delay at that time.
Yeah. Okay.
But
there we go.
This one? So this is our seats. The second game of the Pittsburgh game. So where we're at in Cleveland, we had very similar seats to this, and they were padded. And
so the Yankee ones are padded. It's such a game changer.
Super comfortable.
Yes.
And they had multiple attendants wiping down the seats. I mean, they were just going at it. They were wiping off whole rows, and they had numerous people out there doing it. And I know this sounds funny, but the best hot dog I've ever had was at Cleveland Stadium.
Wow, that's
best
bold.
Hot dog. They grill them. They actually on the flat grill, and that thing was juicy and tasty. I'm not kidding. Best hot dog I've ever had. Yeah.
That's high praise.
I got a hot dog at the Pittsburgh game, and they said, I just got just a regular hot dog.
Yeah.
And I said, it was like half the size of a regular hot dog. I go, maybe I should have reached for the jumbo or what, the foot long. It was just like, okay. But Pittsburgh, like I said, we've been there several times and have never said, oh my God, this food is great, because it's just not. It's just not good. But that second game, we were sitting down low, and Jerry, I think, went up to get ice cream, and we're sitting in our ponchos. And there's nothing worse than sitting in the rain, being pelted by it, and there's nothing you're watching. You're just sitting there. So I kind of got my head down, and then it just opens up, and we had our ponchos on, and I was going, and someone said, I go, I'm getting wet, because it was going in through my neck and down.
Oh, okay.
I go, hey, so we went up and moved, and then Jerry came down. He's looking for us. We moved on.
So the good thing about both of them, Cleveland, we parked on the street a block and a half away and did not pay for parking.
Wow. Well, I guess that's the benefit of Cleveland. Cleveland is not the most populous of cities.
The entrance into the downtown area is so easy.
Of course,
I really enjoyed Cleveland. I really did. I thought it was top notch.
I've been there. I like
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. We did it in a parking garage on the other side of the Roberto Clemente Bridge. It was fine. Yeah. We literally walked 2 blocks, walked across the bridge. It goes right into the stadium. So I would compare those to Petco as being much better.
Yeah. Well, how much is Petco now? I'm curious. How much is Petco to park?
Depending on where you park, it's usually $25 to $40 to $50.
Okay.
There is a trolley option.
There is a I just do trolley. I think it's
good
easier,
luck.
But
good luck.
But I don't mind. I don't mind public transportation. I took the subway, New York subway, to the Yankee Stadium because I had to work in the city, so I took it from my office to Yankee Stadium. But Colleen, she drove from Long Island, and she parked at a parking deck that's next to old Yankee Stadium. There's like a little league field there now. And it was $50. It was $50 for parking there.
It is incredible how much they can charge for, because I know my wife and I paid $80 to park in Washington 8 years ago. Jesus. Hey, I did want to say one thing though.
Please.
From where we're sitting here, that's the next deck is the upper deck, and they had the facade there. Well, a ball hit off Oscar Gonzalez. I don't know if he's still a Padre, who swings at everything. It hits the facade and is coming down right towards me. And I'm like going, okay, I got to catch this, because the whole series I was making fun of the Pittsburgh fans who couldn't catch. I mean, am I right, Jerry? It's like off their hands. One guy, an inning before us, almost got hit in the face because it went off the guy's glove. No, it did hit him in the face. He goes, I go, don't rub it. Don't rub it. Don't rub it. So it came down, and I actually caught the ball.
With your hands? You didn't dig it out of the seats or something?
No, it was with my hands, man.
Okay, all right. I'm just asking.
We
had your Aunt Tammy between us, and she was actually on the phone with your Uncle Ray, who was talking about seeing her on TV, although he wasn't really. He just was calling
with her.
And she was on the phone, and so Jack was on one side, and I was on the other. As it came down, Jack's hands went up, and another guy right behind him, his hands went up, and I was about ready to reach over there, but in that instant, I could tell that it was going towards Jack, and I didn't want to interrupt or
and we had nobody sitting in front of us, so I didn't have to worry about that.
But it was and I will attest, it was a clean catch. There was no bobble.
No bobble. It was like
right there.
Yeah. Wow. They go, "Do your hand hurt?" I go, "It hurt a little bit here, but I'm not rubbing it." Yeah. Which is my third foul ball in my.
That's incredible. I have caught foul balls and home runs in batting practice. I've caught home runs in minor league games. I've never caught a foul ball at a Major League Baseball game.
I did not bring a glove.
Have you ever caught a foul ball and been on the radio?
No. Is that you? You've done that?
Yes,
nice.
I have.
But
I was a vendor at Jack Murphy Stadium, and Greg Lazinski hit a foul ball, and I was the hot dog vendor, and I yelled hot dog, and it was coming right at me. Now the front of the story is that one of our vendors had gotten fired because he dropped his load to go after
to catch the ball.
Hank Aaron's home run ball, because that's back when he was almost the end of his career.
Oh, well, then that's worth getting fired for. I'm sorry. That's worth
he didn't get it, and he got fired, right?
Yeah, fine. At least you got a great story. You got a great story.
But to preface that, before that game, our manager had said, "Hey, this happened. Don't do it," and all that. So the ball's coming right at me. I stick my hand out. To this day, I can still feel that thing going as it spun. Stuck in my pocket, yelled hot dog, and everybody's standing up, giving me, great catch. And I'm like, sit down. I'm 16 years old. Man.
Sure,
sit down. I don't want to get fired. So I go back to my manager, and I tell him. She goes, "Oh no, it's okay. If you didn't drop your load, you're good to go."
Yeah.
I get home that night, and I'm telling my dad, who's still with us at the time, the story. He goes, "Oh, that was you," and I go, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Jerry Coleman said, 'Oh, vendor just made a great one-handed catch. Let's hang a star on that.'"
Wow.
That's my story, Tammy. Yeah.
That's a great story.
Mine wasn't even story. They didn't even bother to show Oscar Gonzalez's foul home run.
So
foul ball.
We're watching the game. I'm in New York already.
I didn't basket catch. I caught it like this.
Okay, so you say it, and so we're I think we're getting Zach a suit because we're going to my niece's first communion, and so while Colleen's waiting, I see her text like, "Oh crap!" So then I'm just on my phone like rewinding it because you said it was Oscar Gonzalez, and I'm like rewinding, and it just they don't even move the camera at all to see the foul ball.
I know.
Such a pain.
I said, you know why? Because I was the only fan that whole series that caught a ball without it. He goes, because
they'd already given up showing it.
what happens is a lot with the foul balls in PNC is they hit an empty seat.
Yeah,
I'm not joking. It's like
it makes sense. This makes sense. But I gotta say, yeah, Jerry, that's a great story.
That is a great story.
Great story.
I don't care what Tamara says. That's a great story.
Like getting caught by the Jerry Coleman.
The Jerry Coleman.
Jerry Coleman. Like that's cool. That's cool.
I gotta admit, all three foul balls I've gotten have been the easiest. I mean, obviously I had to catch that one, but one was off Juan Benito's glove. I was sitting in the front row of field level on the first base, and it fell in my lap. And the other one, I had a Coke in one hand. I just reached out and grabbed the ball. Yeah. So nothing was I had to dive in there and risk my life because people are fighting for a ball.
Well, so I had one chance for a foul ball at the game we went to. I think it was Aaron Judge. In the first inning, hit a pop-up that went up to the second deck. And it was, again, Yankee Stadium was pretty empty because of the rain. So it hit a seat up there, popped up, and then came back down. It was coming back down kind of over us. And so I'm tracking it, and then it just kind of goes right up to the front, and then the people just swarmed on the ball, and then I was like, whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, see, I didn't have to do that. I just caught it. Even though the guy behind us was kind of a jerk.
How?
We stood up, and he's like, sit down.
Oh,
sit down.
Go to hell.
And he was just, I don't know if he was joking or not. Then he said something about hit Manny in the head. I go, come on. I go, come on, man. Really hit him in the head? Yeah. He goes, well, I don't mean that. Just hit him in the butt or something. I go, he goes, that's he was a Boston fan though. He was because he kept talking about Bogarts. I was just listening to him. But
was it the first or second game you went to where there was a Dodger fan right behind home plate
It was the second game because I saw him leave. I saw him. He left early.
What are you doing? What a pain.
He left. I'm just like, boo.
I don't know. We personally have an unwritten rule. We did not wear our Padre gear to the Cleveland Twin game. It's just kind of an unwritten rule. If your team's not involved, then just go to the park.
This is a great point to bring up. Okay, this is a great debate. Okay. It's much like your thing where you have to back into parking spots, which I think is terrible. But that's just my opinion. You can live your life. I can live my life.
A backer-inner.
A backer-inner. Ugh, the worst. Yeah. Okay. So when you go to another stadium to see two teams that are not your team playing,
done it many times.
Feel free to jump in on this too. We got 6 people watching right now. Let us know what you think. What is appropriate? Is it you don't wear anything of your team? That's one. Is it you can wear a cap, but no jerseys or anything? Or do you go full cap jersey, like you're decked out in your team at a game with your team not actually playing? So, Jerry, are you saying you are team no Padres anything?
I'm not obstinate about it. I just that's just my personal rule. I'm there to watch two teams. We've in our travels to see all these stadiums. It's almost impossible to always see the Padres in 2 different stadiums on a trip, because that's usually how we like to do our baseball trips. Is try to get a couple next to each other. And so invariably, no, I've never worn my Padre gear or hat even to another stadium. Yeah.
All right. There's your opinion. All right, Jack, where do you side on this?
This is my opinion. Okay. I can wear whatever I want. You don't like it, I'll take my jersey off and you can see what a 62-year-old looks like with no shirt on that hasn't worked out in about 8 years. So if you're eating something like a hot dog or something like that and you don't want to see something nasty, you
can wear a shirt that's not a Padres.
No, I wear what I want. And like I said, back in the old days, the old Qualcomm Murph Stadium, I gladly took my shirt off. It was okay because I was working out and I didn't look like a 62-year-old that needed a man bra. So
I think it's a manzier. I think it's
manzier, whatever it is. But I know I did. When I took you to the game in Carolina, the Panther game, we saw the Vikings and the Panthers. I was wearing a Charger hoodie and I think a Charger hat, and they're cussing and swearing at me, and I'm like going, I go, dude, we're not even in the same conference.
Yeah.
What's your problem? I go, you know what?
Charlotte fans suck.
I go, they are the worst.
Charlotte.
I go, now I'm going to root for the Vikings.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're pissing me off.
Okay, so you are.
I don't care if someone's wearing gear from another team.
It doesn't bother me either.
I'll probably wear. It depends on the stadium too. If I'm going to LA and the Padres aren't playing, why would I invite the harassment?
Yeah, exactly. Dodgers, I would not wear a Padres thing.
I don't know, Jack. I thought that's what you did on a regular basis. So
I do. When my team is there, I don't care. If my team is there.
So you're saying you're going to. This is what Jerry's saying.
Yeah.
You're going to a game with your team not in it. They're not in the game.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. I would do it in Cleveland. I would do it in Toronto. I would do it in. I'd do it in Yankee Stadium. Okay. Not Dodger Stadium or maybe even Frisco, because why would I want batteries chucked at me the whole game when I'm just there to watch a baseball game and have a Dodger dog?
Here's mine. I think jerseys and stuff too much. I think that's way too much. But I generally wear a Padres hat, so a hat I think is okay. You can wear your team's hat, but jersey, going the whole 10 yards, that's I think a little too far. But if you're wearing your team's hat, I think that's okay.
I even wear Padre pants and stirrups. So there you go.
All right, Dennis. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the chat to see what they have to say. Michael says there was a dude with a Phillies jersey at a game where the Phillies were not involved. True ham and egger.
Well, they're obnoxious fans, though.
They are. Absolutely.
There's joy in being a Philly fan and being not obnoxious. There's actual joy in that. Yeah. So I
am not up to date on my mind.
Hold on. We'll get to that one. Oz said Oz's team, no gear. So with Jerry on this one, no gear.
No
Team
fun.
Oz. Team Oz.
No fun cops.
All right. Michael says no shirt, no shoes, no service. I think it's in reference to you going shirtless. There,
I would wear I would wear shoes.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if it's you got 1 out of 3, you're okay. I think it's in any of these scenarios here. And then Michael Green, Jack, are you up to date on your mammogram?
I am not. I gotta get that tested.
That's my buddy Kansas City Mike.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
Thanks for joining us, Mike.
That's great. Welcome, Mike. Glad to have you here. Tamara says you can wear your gear. Oh, house divided there, Jerry.
What, you expected any different?
Just don't be obnoxious. Okay, yeah. I think wearing a jersey is when you get into obnoxious territory if it's not your team playing. That's
I don't understand. I've never gotten upset when someone is wearing, as long as they're not stand up and say, like if a Dodger fan's there and the Dodgers are playing, the Padres suck, you know, then it's going to be okay. You're a jerk. You know, I'm going to probably say something. I'm going to probably do something. Because we had one guy that sat in front of us the night before, and he had a Tatis jersey on, but he was with all the Pirate fans. The next day, he had a Reynolds shirt on. He was sitting. It was weird. He was sitting on the same area as us. I went, huh? Because the guy behind me goes, "Oh, you're probably just a Pittsburgh fan. You probably live here and you just don't want to be a fan of Pittsburgh." I go, "No, I don't live here." I go, "I'm a fan of the Padres because I'm a fan of the Padres." I think he was, I don't know. He kind of cooled down at the end. I gave him a little fist, but he didn't want to, but I gave him a fist bump. Hey, come on. Good game. Because Tatis had just basically won the game.
Single-handedly.
Double,
won the game.
Stolen base,
incredible
pass ball. And it's like when we first saw it, I think he's safe. But then when you see the replay, it's like, oh, he's got
but so close. Jack, I talked to you about this, you know, not on mic or whatever, but I am curious. You were all at, again, kind of a really cool game, a really, really cool game.
We had a good view of the play.
Was this it's that second view that you had, right? Or was it the home plate
first one?
Okay.
First one. Yeah.
The first one is the one I thought it was the second one he single-handedly won.
The Friday night.
No, it was
Saturday.
It was Friday night. No, it was Saturday. It was
Saturday. It was the second.
They only had 3 hits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Friday we blew them out.
Yeah. I mean, it's been almost a week. I don't like.
It's fair. It's
been a while.
But such a cool thing, right? You have Tatis coming back where you could tell his arm is probably still a little sore because he's not as locked in as he was before that hit. But he gets a single. He legs it out to be a double, right? Very heads up play. There's already been a ton of breakdowns of how he's looking at the defensive alignment, seeing where the ball is, and he's paying attention and he executes and he gets a double.
I said right away that's a double because I could tell where the outfielder was. And Tatis broke right. There was none of this jogging crap. He broke.
Yep. And so makes a double. I think Arise is he ground out?
Manny strikes out.
No, Arise grounds out to third.
So he can't run to
He doesn't run. So then he runs. He steals third, and then Manny strikes out.
Yeah.
And then you have Bogarts up. First pitch is in the dirt, and it only got away like 6-7 feet.
It's incredible.
And he's just so damn fast, and his instincts.
It was good because there was a video out there, and I don't know who created it, but they had the side by side with Tatis in his lead, and then the ball getting away.
Yeah.
And look, instincts like that, some of it's natural, but others is focus.
Yes.
And so, when I used to teach my little leaguers, I would always say, as the pitcher pitches, take your lead. You can't leave the base early in little league, but just as soon as the pitcher crossed the plate, start running. You got 10 feet. They're not going to come. These kids aren't going to throw it back and everything. Sure. Well, same thing with Tatis. If you look at the video, he's out there with just a normal lead, but as soon as the pitch is thrown, he takes one step towards home plate. Yeah. Not like he didn't take off running. He took one step towards home plate, and of course he's in the takeoff position, much like an ice hockey player would, put their skate in and go. And the instincts that were automatic as soon as the ball hit the dirt, he took another step and was on his way.
Because
he doesn't do that, he's out. He's out.
Yeah, you can't hesitate because it was the ball was.
He didn't wait for the result. He didn't, and of course, one could argue that could have gotten thrown out too, because obviously he saw the ball hit the ground. But little did he know that it was only going to bounce 6 feet away, 7 feet away. You know, but once you're committed, you're going. You know.
Yeah.
But the big thing that we were questioning, because again, being live, we didn't know if his heel had come up or had dug in and his foot was above home plate.
You see a lot of times, a
lot of times
he got he's bouncing
plates here and his heels like this.
Yes.
You know, but no, he had his toe down enough so that it came in. Yeah. So,
absolutely.
And that was the play. The guy was saying, "Sit down, sit down, sit down." Yeah. And it's funny because once they showed the replay, at this point there's a lot of Padre fans.
Yeah.
And it's just and then a lot of the guys behind they left. It's just like once the Padres scored the second run to make it 2-1, a lot of Pirates fans left the game. I mean, that's how depressed they are. It's
absolutely.
Like, we can't win. And
the Yankees fans left too. Like I said, when they broke it in the 8th. I do want to say it's cool. And I got to play at home too on my game where Judge
saw that.
blew past the third base coach and got tossed out at home. And there is nothing like a play at the plate, like home plate, right? It's just, and seeing it live also is just really incredible. And again, kudos to Michael, had a great view, and there was nobody in front of us. Nobody showed up to the game. So it was just clean view. And it's what I love about if you got a good seat and you're a good vantage point, it's versus seeing it on TV is getting to see the whole play develop. And I think it's one of the drawbacks to baseball on TV versus like other sports where they can get the angles to let you see the whole play develop. And I do think that's the difference of seeing baseball in person versus TV.
Well,
versus
there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of pluses to watching on TV. No doubt about it. You get instant replays. You get
absolutely.
You get the action of the ball.
Yeah.
But sometimes on, two guy on first and second, ball gets hit the outfield. Well, they're focusing on the outfield. You don't know what's going on the bases.
Exactly.
There's no way you can look and say, what's going on? Who's going where? And that's where, your great announcers are letting you know. It's like, this guy's rounding third, this guy's heading towards third. And, So I love being at the park, but given a good broadcast, sometimes watching
absolutely.
on TV
I think Mets do a good job of
having
multiple camera views being shown at the same time. But I will say, I wish they could crack that nut because you have widescreen now. And there's been videos and stuff about like how baseball hasn't adapted to the HD era as well as football. Or as even soccer. Like soccer, they have such a wide view. You see the whole play develop. In baseball, you still have this pitcher, batter, and you have all this extra space, but you're not really doing anything with it.
But to be fair, for other sports, you got football. It's basically the ball is it's going in one direction unless there's an interception. Or a fumble.
It lends itself to that for sure.
Soccer is so slow, and it's just not a fast game. It's not like hockey because hockey.
But again, it's happening on a big field, so you can just pull back and show.
But also it's just use the one guy he's passing over here. You don't need to have it in close and tight. With hockey, I tell people, I go, when you're watching it, don't watch for the puck, watch the players. If the players move it, that's where the puck is going.
Exactly.
You got to watch the players, not
it's
the
so
puck.
fast. It's incredible.
Well, but let's face it, hockey is the worst TV sport ever. You can't watch it on TV. It's almost impossible.
Well, you can't really see. But like I said, I can see when the puck. Like I said, I was watching.
But they got the sideboards though, Jack, and the puck gets in there. You don't know where it's at. These guys are over the sticks and trying to figure out who's
that's why I say
out.
you got to watch the players because that's
but if they're fighting over the puck, my point is you don't even know who's getting what in there and where's the puck going to come out.
Well, usually
let's get back on task of baseball play developing. Yeah. Let's get back on task for the play developing, because what I love and I wish they could somehow figure out how to capture on a baseball TV feed or whatever is like that play with Aaron Judge coming home where I'm looking at it, I see. A great hit by, I think it's Ben Rice, goes down to Tatis. Tatis gets the ball. He throws it into second base, but Ben Rice is sliding into second base, and as Bogarts is trying to do the tag, the ball flips up in the air. And then, I'm seeing in my periphery, okay, Aaron Judge is coming out. Crap, Aaron Judge is coming home. And then you see Bogarts pick it, throw it, and then this great tag. It all happens in just kind of one fluid motion. Yeah. And I just think in person, it's such an exciting play. It's exciting on TV, but it'd be cool if there was a way they could adjust the feed to somehow capture. I don't know how you do it, but I thought it was a really compelling thing.
I think the problem is though, Jay,
Jerry, your thoughts, and then we'll go to Jack's. Go ahead.
I think the problem is probably the best view of that kind of play is from center field.
Sure.
But now you're losing the bang bang at home to actually see it. Because if you think about it, like that Tatis, the Tatis throw to Bogarts, they were looking at Tatis. Then they look over at Bogarts. We didn't even know Judge was going until Bogarts goes and grabs it and goes.
Exactly.
And if you think about the whole thing, it's like, well, if the center field camera could have got Tatis and then they kind of panned over to second, and now they can tight into the home. The thing is, they don't know where it's going to happen. I mean, let's face it, I'm not the only one, and I'm a pretty big Bogarts fan. I really am. I think people need to lay off of him. But
he's come around. He's doing great.
That runner, that ball hit the runner.
Yeah.
So the first glance I thought is, crap, he lost the tag on him. Well, no, it hit the runner. It could be before he could get to it. But the instincts, and I'm going to give credit, the instincts for him to react quick, the instincts, though, were driven by Lockridge coming in from center field saying he's going home.
Yep.
Because there was no hesitation from Bogarts to get that ball.
It was so quick.
And turn around and throw it. I mean, it wasn't like,
good
throw. Where am I throwing it? Yeah.
It was a perfect throw.
I mean, Lockridge has made a couple plays on the road trip so far that have been fantastic. He threw that runner out at home, and I was there.
Yeah.
And that was a P. That thing, I mean, I was shocked. I was like, I defend myself by saying I've never seen Lockridge throw. But that was an absolute bullet to home. It looked Tatis-like. That thing never got more than 5 feet off.
It was like because
one hot boom.
That's like you're saying, Jay. You don't get the experience on TV in that.
Absolutely.
Maybe the replays you can, but you're watching, you're going, oh, crap. But he's fast. He's running in, and his momentum. It was just like Jerry said, it was a perfect throw. It was like, holy crap! And he nailed him at home. You're like going, that was a game-saving play. Game-saving. That's why I wish he could start hitting and we could put him in left field. I think that would solve our black hole we have.
Absolutely. Well, I do want to ask who gets sent down. I think it's a great conversation. Michael says football and soccer have the advantage of not having to avoid the ball, so they can have those cameras on wires. Maybe MLB needs drones like the WWE started. Maybe I think there's ways you can innovate it, because baseball broadcasts by and large are the same. It's the same kind of view. They just haven't really adapted it. And just seeing it again, I've been in plenty of baseball games, but just kind of seeing it develop. To your point, it's I'm feeling Judge is running, and you just kind of seeing it all happen. Yeah. You don't really get that feel. And to your point, you saw the Lockridge throw home, you don't get that feel, which is really exciting. And people dog on base
for the director of the program, though, because
absolutely,
when you see the replays, they've got replays from about 5 different angles, right?
Absolutely.
And I know,
and some stadiums even have
got
over
the wire cam
over
that
the
goes
top,
from goes from left to home plate. But to use that as the game is unfolding, I don't know if anybody could do that that quick.
I hear the Mets do a really good job. I don't watch that many Mets broadcasts, but I hear they do a lot of multicam stuff, where you're seeing the other camera showing the runner on third.
Well, they do the splits when there's a guy leading off first, right? They'll show the pitcher on one side and the guy leading off. But I think the biggest issue.
Well, they've been doing that forever.
Kind of to Jack's point, football, you kind of know which way the ball's going, and they have the advantage of having about a 15-yard spread. That nothing can happen so quick that they can't catch what's going on.
Yeah.
Baseball, you don't know if it's going to go to right, to the backstop, to left field corner. Well, tough.
But I do want to finish this little thought that people dog on baseball as being boring, but I was just I don't think it's boring. I think it's a really compelling sport that a lot is happening all the time. I think the TV broadcast does a disservice to the game itself, because the game is really exciting when you're sitting there watching the whole thing happen, especially now with the pitch clock. It is it keeps
it's
going.
Also, I think it depends on your announcers, because I know a lot.
Absolutely. That does make a difference.
Yankee fans were bashing Don and Mud And I'm like going, I just don't get it. To me, because again, we've been there when the Padres were bad.
Yeah.
And the reason I watched the game is because Don and Mud were entertaining during the game. And they say they're homers. I go, nah, they're pretty fair. They're pretty fair when,
I think they are.
But it just, Don Orsola, he showed excitement when Merrill hit that home run.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. I want my announcer to show. But anyway,
I didn't hear it. I saw it on Twitter. They were giving whoever was subbing in for the Yankees grief on the Cody Bellinger home run. Okay, let's do some rapid fire stuff. I know we're getting to the top of the hour here. So a couple things. Cease's almost no hit performance looks like he's avoiding any major injury. But what a gem! So great to see Cease pitch a gem like that.
He was one bad pitch.
2 good games in a row. I think he's back on track. The thing that impressed me, I think I texted you guys. I had another commitment, so I got to kind of check in every once in a while. But the one time I did check in was the 5th inning, and he'd only thrown 52 pitches, which means that he's got. We've said this before. Him and Vasquez, it seems especially, they get 0-2, and then they start whittling around. They're trying to make the perfect pitch. Cease especially has better stuff than
trust your stuff.
You shouldn't have to do it. You shouldn't have to do it. But what I've also heard is that he's ditched the changeup for a large part, the one that he learned at the beginning of the year, and pretty much ditched that, and he's gone to the 4-seamer and the curveball. That's it. Pretty much.
And his slidey slide.
Yeah, slider, excuse me, a slider.
Yeah. Slidey slide.
So that was great. Okay. All right. Cronenworth is coming back for the Rockies series. That means somebody's going to be set down. Who do you think you should send down, Jack? Who do you think goes down?
I thought yesterday I said, wow, Gonzalez is playing over Lockridge. I go, maybe it's Lockridge. But watching Gonzalez bat, I mean, the guy just has no plate discipline. He swings at every single pitch, and it could be 15 feet over his head. He's swinging. So I had high hopes for him, but maybe he can redevelop, reinvent himself. Tatis did. So, but right now it's got to be Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. Jerry, who do you think it should be sent down?
Well,
Cronenworth comes back.
I can't answer because I don't know the answer to this question. Just who's got options left over? If it's an equal between Gonzalez and Lockridge,
Gonzalez has none.
Yeah, I send down Gonzalez. I think defensively and running wise, having Tyler Wade and Lockridge as speedsters. Yeah. We've got a couple of slow guys, and one thing that Schultz has already shown is his penchant to pinch run for the catchers.
Yep.
So, and I think it's a great strategy. I think he's using the dual catchers to the best of his ability. Never surprised by when one of them either comes up, they either get pinch hit late in the game or they get on and they pinch run. So I think having 2 guys that can do that. So I'm voting for Oscar Gonzalez. I think it's like I said, I'm sorry, but when we kept Gurriel and he didn't turn in any better, but everybody's like, oh, we should take Gonzalez. Gonzalez. Well, there we go.
Gave him a shot.
Got him.
It didn't work.
Gave him a shot
either. So,
here's the thing. Like, I agree. Lockridge, better speed. He showed better defense and is the bat better? No, but he's not swinging at every damn thing, which is annoying. And then Tyler Wade. Can't we just give some props to Tyler Wade? Filling in for Jackson Merrill, and he did better than I could ever expect him to do.
Yeah,
but
and I think the other thing is by having Lockridge, the days that you start Hayward in left field, because that's going to continue.
Yeah,
late in the game, defensive replacement, and I think Hayward's playing a good left field. Don't get me wrong.
I think so. Yeah,
but let's face it, Lockridge is faster. So, if Hayward, goes out, you could put him, and I don't know what the option is for the right-hander. That was a big discussion point on the radio show this morning. Who else you got? Yeah. We're gonna be kind of left-handed heavy again with Cronenworth and Merrill back and a rise. Nothing wrong with it, but again, we need Tatis, Bogarts, and Machado from the right side. They got to start hitting these lefties. All the stats are worse against lefties. Is it as bad as it was couple of years ago? No, but it's definitely something there, and I don't understand why. When you got those 3 guys representing the right-hand side, I don't understand why we're struggling against lefties.
Agreed. Because they kind of struggle against lefties, and those are right-handed hitters, your core right-handed hitters, and all right. Rocky series coming up. Those are the next 3 games. Who are we playing after the Rockies? We're back home.
Angels, because I'll be at the Angel game on Monday.
Oh, hell yeah!
In the suite.
Ooh, okay. I've heard great things about this suite that you.
I'm not rich. I'm not rich, so I can't go in the suites. I'm sorry.
And unfortunately I'll miss tomorrow's game because I'll be at the Elton John concert.
Ooh, that's a fun concert. Who's opening for him?
You know what? They don't have an opener. I don't believe it's.
That's perfect. That's even better.
At 8:00. Yeah.
As I get older, I don't want any
my
openers.
bedtime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just get the main guy out there. That's great.
Where's the concert at?
Petco Park, isn't it?
Oh, Petco Park.
Yeah.
That's right. It's on the road.
Yeah. Well, have the best time at Elton John. I don't remember the last time who went first or whatever. Who wants to go first to pick the next 6 games before our next episode?
So we have the Rockies at Colorado and the Angels here for 3. Wow. I mean, it just sings to 5-1. It
does.
I'm tempted, and I know Oz would be behind me if I said this. I'm tempted to just say sweep.
Well,
you know what? I'm doing it. 6-0.
Jack's also going 6. Jack's also going 6-0.
Well, we have let Jerry. If Jerry's making his call, let him have some shine here. So you're saying 6-0, Jerry?
6-0. I'm going for it.
Okay, Jack. You're saying
I didn't start out with 5-1. Right off the bat, I'm saying 6-0. I think they played the Yankees tough. They had that one disaster inning in the 7th or 8th,
which maybe they're tipping their pitches. That's another concern right now. Like the teams have counted them tipping pitches.
Have you seen the video where the Yankees are? I mean, obviously the Yankees knew what was coming on those
absolutely
pitches. With more home,
Dan Clark being like, "Oh, we're accused." No, it's part of the game. Yeah. We need to tighten it up. Because that's not the first time that's happened.
Laurie Holmes' problem was the location of his pitches. They were over the hard plate.
If you know it's a non-fastball and it's not being thrown for strikes, you can just lay off it, right? That's the thing.
Which makes it kind of a joke because you have pitch calm and yet you still can't. Yeah, you're still
so if there's a tell, right? And John Boy's really good. It's like, okay, on off speed, the glove's a little bit further away than when it's as fast.
I like the way Estrada does it. He's got those big old mitts.
Yeah, and he does the chitter grip each time.
And he puts that whole thing in there. And you know what? It's easy to come off at that than it is to go back into it.
Yep.
But look, to your point, Jay, it's been part of the game for a long time.
Yeah.
What Houston did was using video.
Exactly.
That's using technology. You can't. I have no problem with people doing that because I'm sure the Padres do the same thing.
But that's a few times now that teams have tracked it, and I feel like hey, Ruben Abel, do a great job. Get on that. You got to fix that one up.
Got to disguise it.
So Rockies, Angels, you both say 6-0. I have to be a little bit more of a pessimist and say 5-1.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
we got the Mariners after
and that's just it. I would take 5-1. This is not to me like, oh, we have to go 3-0 on both of these teams. No, I just think that
it's baseball. Any team can win.
Yeah, if you go 4-2, again, I'm not going to be crying spilled milk. These are the kind of stretches where I will have to say, you kind of just don't want to go 3-3 or less.
Exactly.
That's what you don't want to get. You can't go 5-1, 6-0 all the time,
especially when you're getting all your players back.
And this is a good stretch for us. Okay, we just got done with the Pirates. We got the Rockies. We got the Angels. Mariners are playing better, but then we got Toronto, and then we go to the Braves. Then we come to the Marlins and the Pirates again. So, there's a couple of tough teams in there. Atlanta's playing a little bit better, not great. But you always keep that wary eye of them. Blue Jays are here, hit and miss. But if you look at the next, whatever it is, 15 games, we're playing well over half of them against teams that we should beat. Because if you clip the calendar, then the next month, it gets rough. It goes into the division. It goes into the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers, the Giants. It is a scary schedule coming up after that.
And so exactly, you got to be banking wins right now. You got to be banking wins.
Yes,
and the Reds
exactly.
are playing good too. So you definitely in this month you need to be banking wins because you hope, okay, maybe in June we go 500 in June, right?
Yeah.
And kind of come.
Well, the
out
first
of that.
15 games in June are all against rivals except for the Brewers.
Yeah.
And we seem to struggle against the Brewers.
We do.
It's something about going there. We just always seem to struggle. So yeah.
I hope 5-1, but remember we went to the Angels last year and got swept in Anaheim.
Yeah.
And they were
remember
terrible.
It's the old anything can happen. That's the beauty of baseball. Yeah.
It is.
So, yeah.
All right. That will do it for this episode of Padres Talking Padres. Thank everybody in the chat. Michael, Tamara, Mike from KC, Oz, and more. We had more people watching that weren't actually chatting in the chat. I think we're all should be here for next Thursday.
Next week, yeah.
We should all be here back next Thursday to talk more Padres, and hopefully Jack and Jerry's prognostication of 6-0 will have come true. We'll see you all then. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button. Jack has one last thing he wants to say.
Michael Kolick, good first start.
Yes, great call out. Great call out. On that note, we'll see you all next time. Hasta luego and goodbye.